Good morning. Good morning. And first of all, thank you for the invitation. I came last night directly from Davos, so I changed 30 degrees from -12 to +18, so I feel fine and warm. So I'm more than delighted to join you here in person. And you remember in 2021, I delivered a video message. Since then, I have seen how the conversation around demographic change is evolving. In 2021, we were moving into the post-COVID recovery phase, if you remember. Better to forget. So I spoke about the European care strategy then and the long-term vision for rural areas. At that time, I spoke a lot about demographic mega trend of aging. I also informed you that we were planning to look into the drivers of population decline and the long-term consequences, notably the brain drain that is being experienced in some of the regions of the European Union. And we have delivered on that. So I congratulate the organizers for bringing together this international mix of experts to discuss a topic that is close to our hearts, but also to my heart. I regularly underline demographic change as the other most important transition, because we are all talking about digital and green transition, but there is a third transition, which is demographic change. And it does not yet receive the same urgent recognition. This is the case, but since I see Economist is dealing with this, I hope we will be more urgent than some may think. But there is progress. I want to build on this momentum with you. The good news is that we are living an extra 20 or 30 years. And we created the conditions for this scenario. So it's now time to look at what do we do with these extra years and the repercussions this has for our economy and our society and for our democracy. And the first step is a shift of mindset. Once we grasp the fact that the longevity means mapping our lives in a different way, we can truly reap the benefits that this brings with it. Everyone, including young people, is affected by aging and living a longer life. This is first about ensuring we remain competitive. Then it's about ensuring that we can harness the benefits of it. It is allowing people to be more productive for longer, and it is about the continuing success of our single market. And spreading the word about longevity literacy for all generations underpins our efforts to occupy a certain place in the world. So we are trying to shift the narrative, but not only narrative, from Europe being aging continent to Europe being longevity continent. And the last June, the crucial step took place. That was when the European Council asked us in the European Commission to come out to prepare a toolbox to face the main demographic-related challenges to competitiveness. And member states, in order to help member states. We answered this call in October. We adopted the communication on the toolbox, demography toolbox. But to be clear, there is no one-size-fits-all policy. For some member states, demographic change is primarily about sustainability of pension systems. For others, it is a matter of rural depopulation. For some of them, we looked at the policy dimensions covered by union policies. And in fact, we prepared this compilation of policies. So we group them under 4 pillars. One pillar is parents, and our key message is you don't have to choose between having children and your job. So I know on this that Greece is committed to make great progress, which we welcome. Second pillar is youth. We aim at empowering youth, at empowering them in their skills and talents, because sometimes their diplomas don't match to the needs of the labor market. Third pillar is older people, for us the most important one. So we introduced this longevity narrative, and the idea of these 20 or 30 years should be considered as a gift. So, and we should make the best of these years. So, but we cannot start doing that when we approach retirement. We need to start preparing from the very beginning of our lives. And we usually say we start aging from the day we are born. So this will also require some adaptation of our institutions. All of you know that our institutions are adapted to 65 plus 70. So we have to adapt institutions and our legislation to this longevity momentum. I already mentioned longevity literacy, but it's not an easy task. But of course, since we live longer, we have to think, what are we going to do with these extra years? And the last fourth pillar is migration. I know this is a very hot topic here in Greece. When I say migration, it means legal migration. So you are all aware that we need migrants to fill our labor market gaps. Although we harness all these parents, families, youth, older people, still we have shortages in our labor market and we have to have legal migration. So this is very important, but unfortunately the political debate around this topic is poisoned. So we need to detoxify this debate and make it healthy again, because we need to focus on skills, and we can also promote brain circulation as brain gain. So we can let migrants acquire experience when they come here and transfer it back to their countries of origin in the end. So this is about brain circulation. So the toolbox shows that European Commission has already put in place a number of policy tools. Think only about Recovery and Resilience Facility. Approximately 156 billion euros support demography-related issues, from the childhood education and care, upskilling, reskilling, healthcare, long-term care, social housing, social infrastructure. But there is also a horizontal dimension to the toolbox, the territorial one. With usual market mechanisms, when the population shrinks in a certain area, the invisible hand drags services away, leading even more people to leave. We know that all our rural areas are somehow empty now, so what are we going to do? And what are we trying to do with our funding, with our cohesion policy, trying to invest heavily, massively in rural areas. When I say invest, it means infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, it's not only waterways and sewage system. It's about digital infrastructure. It's about 5G. It's about 6G. It's about broadband. Because nowadays, nobody asks you where you are, but how well you are connected. And this is very important also for Greece. So people can stay there and they can telework. If something, if there is a good take from COVID, it was teleworking. So technology can help with the digital delivery, as I said, but let's be honest, it's also limited. So it is true that you can, for example, buy clothes online, but you can't sit with a virtual hairdresser. So even online medical services have their limitations. So, when we talk also about artificial intelligence, robotics, all can help, but it cannot replace humans in all services. So we have to see how to be assisted by artificial intelligence and digital technology. But at the same time, there is another problem, another issue. Affordable housing becomes a distant dream in some cities, be it in Netherlands, be it in Ireland, be it in many capitals all over Europe. So once again, skills matter. If educated people leave the countryside in search of white-collar jobs in urban areas, there is less hope for development in depopulated areas, triggering this vicious circle. In this context, 1 year ago, Commission published communication on harnessing the talent, harnessing talent in European regions. So aging population, a low and stagnant share of people with tertiary education, outward migration of the young, everything is there. So we identified, these are the key indicators to map all the regions in the Union. So we found 46 regions that fare badly on all three indicators, especially immigration and tertiary education. So, and then they fall into talent development trap. So this is something which we also are taking into account. We deployed additional funding from projects meant to reverse such trends. We are going to direct our efforts to tackle this phenomenon wherever it is a concern for the citizens. So I'm talking about brain drain and this talent development trap. Our idea is to leverage the current demographic trends to improve the quality of our lives across all generations. And that is why we welcome the title of today's conference. I will finish now. The role of science, the role of government, and the role of citizens. So we based our policy making on science and research. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to issue any new legislation. In this interest of building democratic resilience, we involve, because my portfolio is democracy and demography. At the beginning of my mandate, people started asking me, what is the link? Democracy and demography. The link is so evident. Demos, the root word is, everything is about citizens, but I will not elaborate deeper. So we involved citizens in policy making, including young people. We wanted to show that there is no Brussels bubble, that each and every citizen in the European Union can influence drafting European policy. And this was what the Conference of the Future of Europe was about, but it was a big democratic exercise. Through these measures, we are demonstrating that democracy can and the democracy does deliver in order to leave no one and nowhere behind. Thank you very much, and I'm ready to reply to your questions.